Gonna break it down, break it down, break it down. Gonna break it down, break it down, break it down.
Why is always me that has to do the dirty work and drop these intros? I have no clue. Hey, Commentary, it's Harlem B, 1/3 of the Commentary crew, coming to you live from my living room. Just wanted to stop by and let you all know that the episode that you are about to hear is a best of episode. We have decided to compile some of our favorite episodes and what we feel are some of you all's favorites too. On 314 Day, Delux Magazine released their St. Louis edition and named Commentary as the best in show for podcasting for 2020. We would be completely remiss to not thank all of you for your continued love and support. So on behalf of myself, Al and I, Rashad, and the entire SOLC Network, we love and we appreciate you, and we can't wait to bring you all season 2. Enjoy. Peace.
On a larger scale, right? Everything you said was definitely that I'll agree with. And you know, as everybody knows, last episode we were kind of talking about the separation between black men and black women. We're not going to get to that this episode. We're going to take a break and jump on that the next one. But you know, like I said, I wish I had a response. I can only say that for me personally, I do want, you know, black women to feel protected on a macro scale. I don't want them to feel like they are, and something that kind of tripped me out about the whole Tory Megan situation. Like these ignorant cats was jumping on the internet like, oh, Meg a snitch, Meg a snitch. It's like, bro,
He fucking shot her. He shot her.
Y'all like, don't know how the streets work, and it shows.
He shot her. Like, it was almost like from the beginning of the situation, I saw far too many black men finding humor in the shit. And that was what was like really pissing me off, because there's nothing funny about domestic violence, number one. There's nothing funny about a man of any color shooting a woman, and possibly he could have killed her. There was, you know, I was just disgusted at the amount, at the lack of compassion for her and her situation. And it, like I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it, black women are the most disrespected human beings on this entire planet. We are disrespected, we are disregarded, and we are very much misrepresented by the men that we so desperately try to uplift and try to uphold. Like, it was black women on the front lines fighting for justice for George Floyd, and you know, like, we've been out here, and yet and still we find it funny that a black man shot a black woman.
I mean, it happens every day, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing funny about the abuse of black women in any shape, form, or fashion. It's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous.
Okay. I think that one of the most common forms that we see that in is when there are domestic situations. For instance, in St. Louis, there were 2 black women kidnapped this past week. Or last week, over the weekend, something like that, right? So, you know, I said it to my point. I think the most common instance that we see black women not necessarily being protected is in instances of domestic things like breakups or, you know, infidelity, cheating, things like that, where men feel like they have some type of possession or something over these women, right? Which is complete and total BS, number one. But 2, like, who raised you for you to resort to violence because their ego is hurt, bro? Like, you know, like, don't get me wrong, I've been hurt. Like, you know, remember when Martin Lawrence said, what did he say when she told him she wasn't giving him a quality time? He's like, I should crack your motherfucking skull. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, I ain't giving you no more quality time. You know, don't get me wrong, I've definitely felt that emotion. Have I ever followed through? Hell no. For what? because I got a fishing rod. I'm gonna go throw it and cast it and give me another fish. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, bro, like you
Well,
cats are wilding, man. Like, and we don't know the situation between Meg and Tory. Like, we don't know. We don't know if they were dating. We don't know if they were just
Right,
friends.
right.
We don't know if they were working on they going to the studio. We don't know.
right.
I do have a little insider information that they were, hanging with Kylie that day, which everybody knows is kind of common knowledge. But Meg is out in LA all the time now, so her and Kylie kind of hang. I don't know if they tight or what, but I know somebody that
Right.
be around and they like, bro, they cool, which
Yeah.
would kind of also explain Kylie being in the WAP video, but we'll talk about that another time. But like, we don't know the situation, and even still, like, bruh, like, for you to resort to the use of a handgun in California got some tight gun laws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And you're not
Tight.
even from here. Like, you're not even from this country.
Tight. Like, in California, you basically can't even carry a pistol unless you're a police officer. Like, they don't have concealed carry laws. Like, you can, but it's so hard to obtain one that you can just walk around with it. Like, they make it nearly impossible, essentially. Like, and you out here like that, bro. Like, number one, you ain't supposed to be out here like that. And the fact that he didn't even think through the situation, like, did he think it was just gonna be good? Like, oh, I'm gonna let these rounds off and it's gonna be good. And like, bro, we don't know, but
Right. Well,
it's go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say because a lot was said, and I definitely was just listening. So I kind of want to rewind because
Go ahead.
I said. So number one, with this being we are not a family show, but we have a family air. We're an adult family show, right? So we can agree to disagree on some things.
Absolutely.
I think definitely shout out to Harlem, and that was some passionate expression, man. And AI, you said something that was very important too, where you spoke about things being micro and macro,
Mhm.
and that is somewhat my sentiment. Sentiment. Niggas will take a T out of word in a second.
That nigga said cinnamon.
Right, sentiment. But it's right. My sentiment. But so as far as with black women not being protected, on a major scale, I definitely agree. However, one of the things that I say, and this is something I'm passionate about, it definitely is about perspective. It's definitely about facts. You know what I'm saying? We
Agreed.
can't leave that out there. The reason I say perspective though is because in my life, from my own actions as well as what I've seen other brothers do, it would be the opposite. You know what I mean? I know
Mm-hmm.
brothers who went to jail from I'm not going to say what they did, but it was in protection of not only their woman but women of the neighborhood. If things happen unfortunate such as the rape word, and I hate that word, and I don't even like to talk about that shit, but rapists ended up dead or beat the shit out of, and it didn't have to be, oh, this was my girlfriend, this was my cousin. It was a neighborhood thing, and this is something that was in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s when it came to sisters not being violated, disrespected, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Myself and other brothers like me, things, I'm not trying to implicate myself or anybody on a damn show, but things were done. They're not always broadcasted, but things were done. But once again, if
I'm with you.
being honest, I would have to say that those were micro incidents. You know what I'm saying? Those were micro situations where they happened in my life and other brothers' life, and we don't play that shit even to this day. But on a global scale, I always talk about, and I won't go too much into the spiritual, but I do always talk about why are our sisters the most disrespected, and why as men as a collective, why are we so bitch made collectively to let it happen? Because in all races except ours, all, not some, all, you will not do that shit to their women and not be affected. Okay? Now, we can go down a rabbit hole of, I think the nicest way to say it, or the coolest way to say it, so we don't get too deep. Because we could actually talk about this on a money, power, respect episode. Like you said, AI, Harlem. But this goes back years and years and years of a lot of infiltration, if you will, of people who don't look like us, people who don't have the same culture values as us, and so on and so forth. And rather people be, well, it was the black woman fault, it's the black man fault. No, it's our fault as a collective that we moved away from our principles. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's a seed and this is super simplified what I'm saying, but it's a seed to how these things can happen. But I'm all for, if the black woman is disrespected by one of us, and definitely somebody who not one of us, heads gotta roll, man. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't fucking nothing wrong with saying this. Like, if we the only race, man, like, if we talk about off with your head, if you disrespect our women or children or my fellow brother, oh, he's being violent, he's this, and that. But go do that to the Irish. Go do that to the Italians. Go do that to the Japanese and see what happened to you. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, and I've gotten into many fights about this, but the black woman is God. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna go down that road. It is a most high, but I always say the black woman, especially for a black man, that's the first example or the first instance of God that you know. Funny how I put this like dashiki mask on and shit, and I just started talking some serious shit. But seriously, man, so I stand with the black women. I stand with the black brothers, man. And like just
Gonna break it down, break it down, break.
Throughout the nation that are from St. Louis. St. Louis, like, so we're talking about the people who have the names in the industry and so on and so forth, but the independent music scene as well as the behind the scene folk, a lot of people come from St. Louis, man. And it's a lot of people hiding in St. Louis too. Celebrities and so on and so forth, and a lot of baby mamas.
A lot of baby mamas.
Real women of St. Louis too.
Real women of St. Louis.
Yeah. Early 2000s, Nelly dropped. Chingy came shortly after. Club scene is crazy then.
Hold on, pause, because I feel like this person gets slighted every time we talk music in St. Louis. Every time. And it bothers me because y'all got Pretty Willie fucked up. Okay?
Pretty Willie
Moore.
Yes.
He don't.
He's no longer Pretty Willie or P-Dub. He's Willie Moore Jr.
Willie Moore Jr.
However, the P-Dub and Pretty Willie era, he got a catalog. He got some bops.
And if we being realistic, like, now this is just if you were really into the St. Louis music scene. Pretty Willie actually had Nelly a little bit nervous because when all that stuff was coming out, Pretty Willie was hitting hard, man.
That's why never mind. Yeah.
I already know where you was going.
Yeah, that's why he didn't blow how he should have blown up. Because P-Dub, Pretty Willie Suella, has a catalog out of this world. I have his CDs. I got the shit on Apple Music, like all of that. I still ride to his albums today. Like he had a catalog, and I think it's fucked up that we don't give that man his props how we should as a pioneer of the St. Louis music industry in the early 2000s.
Shout out Willie Moore Jr.
For real straight up. He does.
Harlem, I hear like with people who I hear his name pop up in circles. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that it was like nobody was saying anything about
people are haters. They ride on the bandwagon. So because he was shut down, well, we can't like his music. No, like he got some jams.
You know what's funny? To kind of piggyback on what you're saying, Harlem. A homie of mine, shout out to Keenan, doing big things in Chicago. We had a conversation about the music scene and the party scene. And we were just talking about, he was like, once Nelly blew up, Like, I remember being in like Florida and everybody was talking about St. Louis, and this shit was just so surreal to me. You get back to St. Louis and it's like, it went from how AI said, all of us just had this like unity in the streets. I mean, it was still bad, but like with parties and just either you was in or you wasn't in. But if you was in, everybody was connected. And we were just talking about how like St. Louis kind of got Hollywood once a lot of like exposure that we weren't used to started popping up in a loop. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, the conversation wasn't blaming Nelly, because Nelly did his thing and Nelly is dope. And shout out to the St. Lunatics as well. But it was one of those things where he felt that we didn't know how to deal with it. And I agreed with him, but then I also told him, if it never was here, then you kind of have to go through it to kind of figure it out. But it was a pretty good conversation about just the Hollywoodism of St. Louis and where the cliques started getting real thick within St. Louis.
Oh yeah, that's shit. That's about the time we were standing on couches in clubs.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of St. Louis has a lot of jams that still ring true today. Like that still can turn up a club today. Like we have a lot of artists that probably are maybe regular now that they had us turned up. Ludi.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yep.
I know he's Bruce Franks now, but
right.
You know, Louis V.
Yeah.
Loudy. And you can't say St. Louis without saying do it with no hands.
Do it with no hands. You had Just Black in them. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is the All-Stars.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out
Track
to
Stars.
Man, Trust. We grew up together. But Track Stars. But the craziest thing is, and I always say this to just traveling and stuff, when I see people try to do the mono, and it always makes me think like you would never know what it's like to have been in a monastery when that thing took off. It's from Club Monastery. You know what I'm saying? And you risked your life every Saturday or Friday or Sunday, whenever you decided to go. On the east side to the monastery, I saw everything from people fighting to in a monastery. You just, all right. Good times, man. Good times.
So I be having conversations with some of my young guys and girls, and I tell them, man, I hate sounding like the old dude in the room, but even for me, like being a DJ, I still occasionally have to end up in those environments. Then they don't rock. They don't rock.
That's because their music doesn't move you. Like the music that we created, the bangers, Raider Kid, like Hakeem, the music, Huey, come on now, Pop Lock and Drop It. Like the music that we created made you want to dance, made you want to jump on the couch and cut up. Like it made you want to just kick it. And that is what we used to do. We used to turn up at our parties. And that's what clubs were. We wasn't going to the club. We was going to a party. We threw parties straight up. Like St. Louis was a vibe back in the early 2000s.
And you had your hood. You had your hood-ish. You had kind of your sophisticated-ish that could turn hood. Your hood-ish could turn sophisticated. And when it's like everybody knew each other, it's like some people threw the type of parties where you could have every type of in that mug. And you like anything from mobbing out or throw Nelly on or Baby Huey.
Definitely Sagu and Dynasty was throwing some tight ass parties.
Free Time, which was on
Free Time, that's right.
Come on, man. A Tribe Called Fresh is what I named a couple people. One of the people on here, they just never, those were my guys, but I just
long story. We'll talk, bro.
Yeah, we used to throw parties and we used to and you knew that the shit was live because you you knew a bunch of shit come Monday evening because you went to go get the world.
Yeah.
So you saw who died the weekend before, who got locked up, who did what. But then we flipped to the back.
Right.
You saw the party shit.
Yeah.
You saw how live whatever this event was or whatever the case may be. You know, you saw Harlem B talking about telling it like it is in the back of the world. Like, you know, those type of things. We used to turn up.
Yeah, man. You had, oh my God, Eye Candy. Shout out to Big Mo.
Yep, Mo, Eye Candy. Yep, The Loft.
Tease. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
it even goes back because The Loft takes us back to Saints and the Palace.
Oh man,
because they're the same owners.
It's like 5 people who saying they making the Saints movie, and all I'm saying is I'm giving it about 3 more years before I write my version of this mother.
It has to happen. It's got to happen.
Because that's like the Palace and Saints, but definitely Saints on Sunday night. That's like such a dope story waiting to happen, man.
Yeah, it's like
ATL.
I was just gonna say it's our ATL. Man. It definitely is.
And it's a million stories. And
think about it. We had a DJ who was like 13, 14.
Yep.
Tab.
Yep.
Spinning. You know, like St. Louis is a vibe. If you know where you at.
And then like me and my man ZJ Reminisce used to run, had our Vapors runs at Lola. Lola is a whole nother movie. But Lola was kind of I don't want to say it was the beginning of the end, but it was just kind of like for me at least, the apex of the dopeness. And then it just kind of, the game went where it went. And these fun times, and this is just my perspective, it just started turning it more business than experience. You know what I'm saying? And it's always been a thing where it's like the club was popping more than the events was popping more than the club. But at one point, both of them were like, it used to be, we'll just use Harlem. We going to Harlem event, gonna tear that mug down. She ended it at 1:30. Then we all finna run over to, the Marquee. Then we all going to the east side.
Gonna break it down, break it down, break.
His legislation.
Right.
Now people will come with all this. This is where the plot twist kicks in.
Okay.
The Facebookers and the Twitterers and the tweeters, they'll come in and, everybody don't report the census. Everybody don't do this. Everybody don't do that. Yeah, right. And you are not in the top 4%, of earners, my G. Like,
right.
Middle class, if that's a thing, people in that demographic but saw some benefit for about 18 months of his legislation.
Right.
And that's by the numbers. You can look this up.
Yeah. All scholarship, man.
Yeah, about 18 months. After the 18 months, man, like, people literally were seeing, as middle class, they were seeing higher taxes.
Yeah.
They were seeing higher medical bills, medication, all that stuff went up.
Right.
Everything, literally, all this stuff went up. And I'm not putting myself in any position or polarizing myself here. I'm strictly speaking to the numbers and how this works statistically as far as income in America. A lot of people were not in a position, we all, not all of us, but people have grandparents, people have parents.
That's
you
right.
have parents that are retired, Social Security, Medicaid, like all of these things are part of this big picture, right?
Right.
And a lot of people are not in positions to benefit. That's just the reality. They're not in positions to benefit from a lot of the legislation that was passed. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's not me, but that's not my opinion.
Right.
Or anything. Like, that is the absolute truth. Like, you're just not, like, and you can't convince me otherwise unless you have some offshore accounts that you're not claiming somewhere. Like, bro, if you make 50 grand a year and you got a little side hustle going on to give you another 15, 20, that's just what it is.
Right.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that, bro. Like, how dare you, come at people when, I think only 14% of households in America make 6 figures after taxes.
That's true.
14%. That's of all income earning families and households in America. 14% make six figures.
That's true.
And you're sitting here telling me that you're upset that this man is gonna, well, he's saying that if you make over 400K, bro, do you know how hard it is to make 400K in a year? Like, bro, it's not easy.
That's a lot of OnlyFans work.
There's a lot. It's not even dope dealers. People, the D-boys, they not doing that. If you show me, I would love to see. The boy that's telling you that that's what he's doing, he's lying.
He just know how to spend 65,000 real fast.
He's not. It's not possible, bro. Like, I hear that there's money out here because it's money out here. People getting ready to hit me up. Oh, there's money out here, bro. And we doing this, and me and my crew, and
got them Jordans with them government laces, but
bro,
you ain't heard that from me.
By the numbers, dog. Y'all are not doing it like that. It's not happening. It's not happening.
I'm waiting for the trap rapper to come out that be honest about being a thousandaire.
I mean, that should be most of. I had a conversation. Shout out to the homie Jay Nix. I had a conversation with Nix a couple of weeks ago. And we were literally talking about how, like, a lot of these rappers are hurting right now.
Yeah.
Like, they don't got no show money. The labels are not allowing them to drop any music. Like, they are hurting. This conversation is going all over the place at this point. But
I love it, though. That's
a lot of people are hurting. Like, these cats are the people that y'all looking up to, be it young, old, whatever. Like, these dudes are hurting. These women are hurting.
Shoot, all that, you got all these cats who went bought all this designer wear.
Yeah.
I think about in a month, they're going to start pushing retro by default.
It was the reason that Offset ran back, y'all. Right. The Migos are not popping right now. Like, let's be clear. They're in the middle of a lawsuit right now. Like, they not popping. They not doing no shows. That Bad and Bougie money is drying up. Cardi's still out here getting it.
Right.
But that's what happens when you diversify. And I don't know the Migos portfolio. So again, the people that's gonna go, oh, nigga, you don't know.
Shout out to the Migos.
Shout out to the Migos. Because a lot of people are hurting right now. But back to my thoughts, because I went everywhere on that one. B, you quiet over there. You got.
I'm just listening because, like, I feel like this election has definitely brought out a lot of different views that I don't think people really fully realize that possibly, like, the people that are close to them had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know me personally, I was talking to my best friend and we were talking about COVID or something. And I was like, oh, I bet so-and-so voted for Trump. And she was like, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Best friend since 8th grade. I almost said, girl, go to hell. But I was like, oh, okay. Oh, it is what it is. It does make me look at her differently because there was no real valid reason of why you chose to vote for this particular person.
Right.
And I don't think people really have, like, a true answer, especially black people, for why are you voting for Trump? You're working class poor.
Right.
What is your reasoning? He's literally, like, I feel like he's killed 220,000 people just in this year alone with the whole corona pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Those people who are so concerned about finances and the economy and all of that stuff under what is to come, y'all was the first ones on unemployment.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all was the first ones on unemployment. If we're being truthful, there are just as many, if not more, white people on Medicaid, government assistance such as welfare and food stamps and all of those type of things. So when he was trying to decide if he was going to get rid of those things, y'all were going to be just as impacted as the African Americans who are on these things, the other, population that's on these things as well. So I feel like people just want to be racist.
And some of it is that.
Yeah, right. You just want to be a racist. I've seen the smearing of Biden. And I'm just like, it is what it is. Nobody is perfect. I think, Alan, you said, I don't know, one of y'all said that you have to be some level of crazy to want to be, to be the president.
Yeah, that's what,
in some shape, form, or fashion.
And that was based off of a conversation that all three of us actually was having back when we were discussing, the one guy who did the one thing, and we were talking about
Right.
psychopaths and
Yeah.
sociopaths.
Yeah. So, everybody has a past, but
Right.
I think it is definitely time for this country to be cleaned up a little bit.
Well, yeah, and this is what I was saying. And you kind of touched on this. So, I mean, yeah, coming out, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a Biden supporter. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff. And I voted for this person. You got people who I just voted against him because I don't like him. Or I voted him because I don't like him. And then you have people I feel you were touching on is just like getting into specifics of why you voted the way you did, even though it still would be a disdain for, the trumpet player or whatever.
Right.
My biggest thing is that everybody, at the end of the day, it's just like I tell prostitutes. You know what I'm saying?
You have never.
Right. No, but
That could have
seriously.
went so many different ways.
Right.
But okay.
You definitely not calling you one, but I'm just saying like in general, But just be responsible for your choices. Be conscious of the choice you make and be responsible for it. You right. The other person right. Like everybody's going to be right in their own way, but at the end of the day, the results will show in the form of how things change, how they progress, how they digress. Did I say digress? Black people we gonna stay making up words. You know what I'm saying? I digress.
Irregardless is now in the Webster Dictionary.
So what's up with this? Is because I think I be saying that wrong too. So is it regardless?
It's
regardless.
It's regardless.
So who came up with
Black
irregardless?
people. Black people.
Probably a black person.
Oh, that's Metamucil. All right.
Probably a black person. Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can have your reasons for voting for or against somebody.
Right.
I wouldn't vote for Trump simply on the fact that he has, there are alleged cases of him being, touching women inappropriately.
Right.
I'm not gonna vote
Grab
for
him
you.
by the-
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna vote for you simply because of that. And these have there's been things that have come out where it's proof.
Right.
So therefore, I would have voted for Kanye before I would have voted for Trump.
Well, and just because I like friendly game of tennis, not that I'm, either way or whatever, but Biden's laptop, that's our topic. and it's like, but at the end of the day, because I don't know how political.
Gonna break it down, break it down, break.
My desire to explain myself to people, but one thing that I am not is a gold digger. I know what I bring to the table. I've said this before. So I think if I want someone who is either able to provide more than I can provide for myself, that doesn't make me a gold digger. It doesn't make me an opportunist. It makes me a woman who knows what she deserves, period. And I think, like you said, Jamie, too many people use the term loosely because they really don't know what it means. And a lot of the times, I'll just put it out there, the people who call women gold diggers are broke.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I feel.
I think a lot of times people, especially in today's society where you have social media and everything, is people feel like it's an open book and they think they're seeing people as an open book. They want you to explain to them how you have achieved something. How did you get this car? How did you get this house? How did you get into this zip code? I remember one time it was a few years ago, and I said something about I have to go to work. And somebody was like, girl, you don't work. I was like, I've always worked. What are you talking about? And they were like, you stay at home. I was like, no, I actually don't stay at home. I did go through a period of being a stay-at-home mom, and I was grateful enough to be able to still send my son for childcare. But historically, a majority of my life, I have always worked, but I don't ever discuss work on social media. Mm-hmm. It's not something that really comes up in conversation because my work doesn't define who I am. And so this person really thought, I guess I was just sitting at home being taken care of.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like you said, it's the assumption and the assertion of others' own thoughts and opinions of what it looks like your life is to them. So you have a nice car. Oh, you must be married to a very rich man, or you don't have a job.
No. I'm sorry.
I'm not messing with y'all.
Welcome to the Black Versation, Jamie. But yeah, that is,
No.
that is the thought around certain things. And like I said, I don't owe it to anybody to explain my situation. But yeah, if people knew the pedigree, they'd be like, oh, Harlem is far from a gold digger. Ooh.
We know a man paid for that.
She literally married for love.
You married, maybe he was a gold digger. sorry.
Because men can be gold diggers too.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly
Okay.
agree.
They definitely can.
Because I've seen these, listen, they out here trying to get the come up too.
Yep.
They out here trying to get somebody to pay for their beer management. Like,
I was trying to get somebody to pay for my son's childcare back in the day, so and
did it work?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh, it
but,
worked.
It definitely did.
I still owe his previous child care provider some money, but this was years ago.
Listen, let me tell you.
But I was good for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one thing to have standards and to desire, a certain level of a lifestyle. That doesn't make you a gold digger. I've had somebody recently was like, oh, that I'm seeing to offer, like, my wife doesn't have to work. No, I would like to spend my own money on the things that I want to spend my money on, like my children. I don't feel comfortable spending another man's money on children that are not his. Does that make sense?
I'm
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you in a relationship with this person?
Quite possibly. I could be.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, if I enter into a relationship with you and you care about me, what comes with me is my family. And if you have children, that entails that. I'm not saying you need to pay the same amount of child support or you're responsible for daycare or tuition or whatever it is. But I think that if we go out to eat, I would ask you not to put my child on a separate ticket.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean,
so like my
men out there like that, I don't want to tag one of them when y'all put this episode up, but go ahead.
So trifling. So my idea, like, around that conversation was, he was like, I don't want my wife to have to work. She can literally just take care of the home, handle my check. That's how I was raised, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And my response to that was, that's all well and good. I'm fine with spending your money, but I also would like to continue my career to be able to do certain things for my kids with my money. And he was like, okay, I get that.
That's great. I mean, I think now I was provided the opportunity, through hard work to not have to work when I made a move during my marriage. And I think the only reason I really went back to work, because I was like cooking and cleaning, I didn't realize I couldn't get a maid and like meal prep if I still stayed at home. And I don't want to be that kind of stay at home wife. Like, I want to stay at home, but I don't really want to do the cooking and cleaning.
So what you're saying is, you don't cook, you don't clean, but you can show them how you got that ring.
I can show you how I lost it too. I mean,
Hey, man.
it goes.
Hey.
No, I'm being serious. Like, this is the thing. I think, people tease, and especially, Cardi did the whole song and now they're getting divorced. I think I don't really think you can cook and clean. None of that really gets a man or keeps a man. But no, I'm not a chef. I actually had never cooked a dinner until I think after I got married. I had never even purchased meat before. I had never purchased ground beef in my life, or chicken.
How the hell you was eating?
Out?
So
I had never cooked. I cooked breakfast food, but I had never cooked dinner. No.
So were there gentlemen taking you to Ruth's Chris and things of that nature?
At the time, I don't believe Ruth Chris was here, but I ate well, and
You was at Shoney's.
definitely. I mean, I tore up Shoney's in the 80s. Don't hate, but no, I ate well. I always worked, so I always had enough food. I always had enough money for food, but yeah, I didn't. No, I did. I mean, I cooked, a little thing, but I never cooked meat. I had never purchased meat.
I think that
I know that sounds shocking, but I'm not really ashamed of it. I don't really care.
I mean, I personally cook and I enjoy cooking. My lady now can cook, and she's expanding on her her menu items.
She going up from that chicken Alfredo. I see you, sis. I see you, sis.
She no longer cooks tilapia.
Ironically,
okay?
we're having chicken Alfredo today, but I think for me, you know, like the cooking and cleaning, I'm not very traditional in household roles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't get it twisted. Like I'm not finna be out here with the apron on and all that, like kicking it with the feather duster, bro. Like that's not what's getting ready to happen. But I think for me, you know, I think that, and this just goes for everybody, just do what works for you.
Well, I think I did what worked for me, and I knew that when I started a family, I wanted to be able to cook. So I got cookbooks. I have, you know, the best kitchen equipment, and I learned how to cook. I wasn't like proud. I wasn't like, hey, I don't cook and I don't clean, but I'm gonna get this ring. I wasn't going around like that, but it wasn't something that I was interested in doing. But yeah, I cook now. Brian, you've had my cooking. I can jam.
I've only had your corn.
Girl, you have had more than my corn on the cob. But you love my corn on the cob, but you have had like I jam.
Yeah.
Like I cook for like 40 people at a time sometimes. It's
So
nothing.
would we
outside of the holidays?
Yeah, like I'm known for having a good house gathering.
Mm-hmm. So would we say that like, so do gold diggers do things like domestically, or are they really in it just for the money? So they don't do things that are domestic.
That's not true.
That's what I'm asking.
A gold digger is about getting into a relationship for a transactional purpose.
Okay.
It is them pretending or learning to love this person for money or for benefit.
Okay. So it's not real for the most part.
I don't think it's not always real. I think sometimes people enter into relationships for money, but it grows into love. I think people, the same way some men go into relationships with women because they are interested in what that woman represents. Okay. They're interested in what that woman can do for them, whether it be business, whether it be adding some common sense to their life, some stability. It's the same thing. And they're not called a gold digger, but it can become transactional for them as well.
Okay.
So does gold digging go beyond monetary things and material things?
Absolutely.
What else do we need to throw in there?
Benefits. What are the perks? What are some of the perks? You could be dating somebody because they have access to free airline tickets. You could be dating somebody because maybe they can help you elevate in your career. You could be dating somebody.
Gonna break it down.
So on another note, Mr. Kevin Samuels, the relationship coach, he went viral this week for talking to a young lady regarding, I guess, her available options as a mid-30s-year-old woman with a child.
Have you ever, prior to this, I've listened to his show.
He used to do like fashion or cologne or something, right? I had seen that from like way back when.
Right. Oh, he raw daddy, man.
What was his perspective? What did he do? What did, just a brief synopsis of what he told this young lady.
So basically,
before you say it, keep in mind she called to get his advice.
She did.
She said she respected him and called to get his advice. So we want to make sure that the narrative is clear.
She did call. She did call him. She called into his show or podcast to get his advice on the options that are available to her as a mid-30s-year-old woman that has a child. So essentially, when the video, when the viral video clip starts, he asks her. You hear her asking. He's asking her, what type of man are you looking for? She's like, I want a man that makes 6 figures. And he immediately says, ma'am, you don't know any men like that outside of your father, uncles, and relatives. So.
Oh, it get worse. It get worse.
We
worse.
should be able to put a clip in here. We can put the clip in. Oh, that'll be great.
You know how hard I'm gonna put her picture up? She just cut us off and she put her picture up. Oh, that picture, your picture would be up for probably the next 10 minutes. What you about to hear, sister? I'm just
So long story short, he says, you don't know any men like that, you know, and blah, blah, blah. So she says, well, you know, he says to rate yourself. And she says, you know, when I wake up, I'm a 5, but when I put myself together, I'm a 6. He was like, so you're average at best. You just rated yourself at average. He's not saying you rated yourself, but she rated herself as average on a scale of 1 to 10. And he told her she couldn't use 7, which was hella funny to me. Right. He said, rate yourself 1 to 10. You can't use 7.
Why did he say that too? I was trying to figure out why he said
safe number.
7 is the safe number?
The safe number.
Okay.
So she had to be a 8 or better or a 6 or below.
Yeah.
Oh man. So he says, you know, he goes in and she's like, well, you know, my body's not average, and he like, it don't matter, and you know, and big ups to sister. She has a pet grooming service. She is doing 6 figures a year off her pet grooming service that she owns.
And she's black.
She's black. Okay. But you know, I think that so Mr. Samuels goes on, and she says, you know, she feels like she starts to kind of lead into the fact that she feels like in order for her to fully be able to submit to a man, that he's going to have to be bringing in some bank. So Mr. Samuel said, well, shit, you're going to die alone. And, you know, I don't, you over there thinking. So what's on your mind? What's on your mind? Have you seen the full clip yet?
I have not.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to watch it. But I feel some type of way, because who the fuck is he to tell this woman that her standards are too high?
I agree.
I think that's the misconception of, I think that's something that gets thrown at black women who are single, who aren't possibly at a certain level, who may have children or whatever the case may be. It's always, you'll never get better than what you've already received. And I think that's a very, very misogynistic mindset for especially men to have. What's wrong with the woman wanting a man who makes more than her, or who makes you know, a certain amount of money and can support not only himself, but he can also support her should they get to that point in their relationship. I try not to go too deep into this because y'all already know where this shit goes when I say anything about it. But I don't think that is a fucking problem. And who is he to tell her that she's gonna die alone? If I was her, I would have cussed his ass clean out.
Well, you could tell in the video that she clearly had confidence and self-esteem issues. So
right. Well, I mean, I think one thing you said, B, is not going too deep into it, because it's like on being like 100% honest, it's a million different perspectives you could take on this. It's the humanistic perspective of true. Who can tell you what about anything? You know what I'm saying? It's all about you and what you want to manifest into your life.
I was just gonna say, you can manifest just about anything.
Right. I think with Brother Samuels, my assumption, I should rather say, is he's speaking from a certain aspect of what some may call the game of life. Like my man AI said, the law of averages, you know what I'm saying, and things of the sort. The sister called in, you know, and from what I heard, you know, she had admiration for him. She respected his perspective, you know what I mean? And so she called, you know, basically to see what he thought.
Yeah.
And so to be honest with you, that's the first thing. This is just me. That's the first problem. You know, you're going to base, it sounds like, assuming, allegedly, but I mean, you're going to base your worth off of what somebody else thinks about you based on you respecting their platform. Now, the truth of the matter is, from his perspective, you know, if you don't, in that type of society, and those type of men that I believe he may be around or may be one of, you got to look a certain way, carry yourself a certain way, can't have this type of baggage, so on and so forth. It's all these stipulations and so on and so forth. So to me, he answering her is basing it off of that type knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, and you get what you seek. You know what I'm saying? This is what this man's opinion was about you based on his world, his knowledge, his views. And if we being 100% ugly truth, I respect that. If that's what you seek, you know what I'm saying? But me personally, I would always say it's about what you want and what you want to do. You know, live your life to defy the odds. Shit, this whole existence right now, this earth is a bunch of odds. Everything we talked about here is a bunch of odds that's probably against you.
That's it.
In some shape, form, or fashion. Yeah. So, you know, I'm not gonna shit on the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really into his show like that. But I will say, just being an adult, if you call to get advice from somebody who has a certain thought process and a platform that you respect, and they size you up based on it, then you got the information that you wanted. But, you know, get knowledge of self and do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be me if you came to me. But the fact he said you can't say 7, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's
on
deep.
a,
Salute
I mean,
to them though.
And you know, shout out to Kevin Samuels. You know, she knew what she was getting herself into.
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with how he approached it. I mean, I'm just the kind of guy like, you don't know what's best for me, or who are you to tell me that these are only my options? Like, how do you know, bro? It's 7 billion people in the world.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And the fact that she is a 6-figure earner, and I think people get really caught up on that 6-figure statement, bro. Like, I make 6 figures. Like, bro, 6 figures ain't it, bro. You still out here, you hustling. You still check the check if you not.
I mean, you got millionaires who believe, if you really want to tell the truth, millionaires, it's not about being a millionaire. Can you stay a millionaire? Can you stay 100,000-aire? Can you stay 100-aire?
Yeah, and I'm
got through. You know what I mean?
I'm basing this conversation purely off. I'm assuming we're talking the low 6 figures, so 150 and under. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. People, I make 400,000. Well, bro, we're not talking about you because you're over the 250 mark, or over the 150
talking about
mark.
the people who still have popcorn ceilings.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, we ain't that far from that. Like, not to tell none of our business, but we do pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I feel you where people, it's all about perspective. But I think Harlem has said that a while ago, man. Like, is it love? Is it money? Or you mixing all of this up? Is your worth your paycheck? You know, the one thing I can say about the sister is that if she getting it from the dirt herself, that's very admirable. You know, if it's her own business, you know, she's 100,000 and up person. But some of these guys that I know Brother Samuels be talking about still got to say, yes, sir.
I mean, these peg rumors again. And he is not, he does not, nobody's exempt from, because he goes in like this on guys, girls, whoever. He talks to whoever crazy.
Right.
But I mean, you know, he told her like, oh, well, I mean, you said that like you a Microsoft executive. Like, bro, 100,000 is 100,000.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yo, on the humble, Harlem and I was talking earlier before the show started, and I appreciate her, you know, for this, because she was just asking me, you know, how's work going and so on and so forth. And of course, you know, it's the ups and downs and all that. You know, I respect my line of work. You know, I do one of many things. But she pointed out, shoot, in this day and age, you better be happy you got something. Because shit, your ass could be making, to be honest, I think in a minute, if you making 30,000 a year,
gonna break it down, break it down, break.
So you can hit us up anytime. But yeah, Mr. Samuels, guys, I'll just say this. I'm going to keep this very general. I'm not going to really go in on anybody. I understand that everybody in this world thinks differently. I get it. And that's one of the beauties of us being who we are and living in this semi-free democracy, because there's no such thing as freedom or free speech. I want everybody to know that. But, you know, I want to just say that some of these black men are y'all whack, dog. Y'all whack.
Oh, man, go in there.
Jesus.
Talk to us.
They were really exposing themselves.
Yeah.
And how just like whack they really were.
It just comes down to this, man. And I had this conversation with my girl like last week, I think, because she was like, bro, I went on y'all YouTube and saw all this stuff was cracking. I was like, I appreciate it. But here's my thing, right? Men, black men, we're going to refer to you as men. You cannot, and Daryl touched on this as well, you can't have this antiquated mindset and still want to live in a modern day. You just cannot do that.
Tell them what antiquated means, sir.
Antiquated means semi-ancient, old.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. it means it's old, you know, essentially.
That's Metamucil.
Yeah, that's Metamucil.
All right.
It's you can't have this antiquated mindset and still want to live in this new day and age and new world, man.
I agree.
Black women are doing their damn thing. This is not, you know, me, because some dudes gonna be like, oh man, he's soft, and you know, black men and men, we supposed to lead the household. And dude, you can still do that, bro. But it's not many of us that are doing it alone anymore. That's just the facts, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right. Black women are going to school, they're graduating, they're making 6 figures, they're making 5 figures, however much they're making in the household that they run, or that you all run together, or you partner in, or that you do what she says, whatever the case is in your house. You got to understand that black women are doing their damn thing. And y'all just gotta, all this.
So, I mean, were they like on some Al Bundy shit? Like, I'm trying to, oh, my bad.
You good?
Yeah.
Well, we got a variety of different comments. However, a lot of these men were basically like bouncing off of one another.
Okay. The Woman Haters Club.
Yeah. Okay. He-Man woman haters.
Oh, you know about that.
Fucking little rascals, right? So one man, Cedric Earl, I'll let y'all go and look at
damn, you calling out names.
I mean, we want to give them credit for their comments, right?
Schweinegel.
She has a weave, fake nails, and bedazzled phone case. Also, baby daddy. That was his full comment. Women need to stop calling, I'm assuming they meant men, misogynistic for saying things they don't like. He was honest with her based on the information she gave and what she said she wanted. Nothing he said was hateful or demeaning towards women. That was from Lincoln. I was also told, if you haven't watched the full clip, you don't have a full understanding how he laid it out to this woman. It's available on YouTube. Check it out and revisit this topic. So they just really, I think, be wanting me to shut up, but I'm not going to do that.
Never.
But we did have, it was a lot of like deep going back and forth. You know, women were chiming in, men were chiming in. Men were really just kind of mad. Of course, they was mad at me for even having an opinion about it. But one comment,
even you, Harlem,
even me, Harlem, right? So Antoinette Green said, first, there is truth in what he is saying. If you want a certain type of man, you have to be what they like and want, mentally, physically, and emotionally. You have to be realistic. Second, ladies, why are we calling a complete stranger and asking of his opinion about us? Stop placing our value based on others' opinions. Third, 100K ain't nothing, especially if that person has a lot of debt, kids, paying spousal support, etc. In my line of work, I've seen doctors, lawyers, and politicians make money and always broke. You never really know. Lastly, Kevin is questionable and egotistical. He was brutal. Yes, she called him her fault, and I agree with him to an extent, but she never did anything to him. Hurt his family, slept with his partner, so why be so hurtful? My best guess is insecurities. We all have them, and ego. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. The amount of brothers I've seen enjoying Kevin destroy this already low self-esteem woman is disheartening. There is no kindness in this world.
End quote. Antoinette really hit on some points there. I rock with that. Antoinette, we appreciate it.
She definitely did.
I gotta give it.
I'd also just want to shout out. His name is Pleasure Daddy.
Yo, what's up with these names? Boy, we get
Pleasure.
I can't remember who it was.
I just want y'all to go and just look at his profile photo a little bit later. Yeah. You should watch the full clip, not the edited clip. He wasn't as harsh as they made it seem. Also, she screwed herself by saying she felt she couldn't submit to a man that made less than 6 figures. That's the equivalent of a man saying he felt like he couldn't provide for a woman unless she at least had D-sized breasts, or he felt like he couldn't protect a woman unless she had a big butt. The realest one, I feel like I can't provide for a woman that already has a child. If her actually submitting to her feminine role in a relationship is predicated on the amount of a paycheck and not my character, then I don't mind predicating my provider and protector role on her external attractiveness. Let me tell you something. Men that say shit like that have to get women based on their paycheck. So just as much as men try to, you know, come at us for how we look and what our expectations are or whatever the case may be, you have to make a certain amount of money in order for a woman that even looks like this lady who was on the phone with them to even give you the time of day. Let's be realistic here. Nobody wants to date somebody that nobody else wants. So if you ugly, guess what? We're not gonna look at you twice. So you should have a nice bank account. Do I feel like I'm the most beautiful woman in the world? No. But I'm not gonna relax my standards just because society or a group of black men feel that my standards are too high. We still on this. These comments were disgusting. And it only furthered my opinion and the thought that black men do not protect black women because some black woman somewhere, whether it was mommy, grandma, girlfriend, baby mama, really truly hurt them. Y'all got us fucked up.
Damn.
Like, and I'll be 100% transparent. I was having a conversation with my male best friend about who I'm dating or whatever. And it's no secret. He got money. My best friend says, what does he want with you?
Wait a minute. What happened? I missed everything. Okay, so elaborate.
He said he's rich.
Okay.
What does he want with you?
I mean, that's a
That was
question.
some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him since.
Rich dudes date women that, I mean, are not in their space financially all the time. Like, I mean, how many times do you hear that story? Now, the thing is, you very rarely hear it the other way around. But
Sure.
that's not what we're addressing, right?
Right.
But it's like, you hear that story all the time. Kanye got Amber Rose off a damn stage. Like, bruh, this happens every single day.
And maybe he, you know, like, not to get in your business, but maybe he didn't lead himself to you or y'all connected even based off of anything that had to deal with his bread.
And that's exactly the case.
That's
Because you're not
100%.
walking around here broke either. Not to
Right.
put your financial
Exactly.
business out there. Like,
not at all.
you
not
eating.
in the
He
least.
eating, you eating.
Eating well.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was very shallow.
Yeah, but that just lets us know that, or lets me know, men really do think like this. It doesn't matter who you are. This was my best friend.
Right.
Like, that I was.
So can
blown
I ask
away.
you a question about your best friend?
Mm-hmm.
Is that best friend rich or doing financially well? Okay,
She took a sip, y'all.
enough said.
She took a sip.
So
That's
Wow.
wild. I thought
just
I missed
kinda
something.
like,
I had to laugh. I was like,
nah.
wait a minute. What do we?
now I'm looking at Harlem and I'm just like, yeah,
How
I
the
know
story
where
go
that's
there?
going.
That was like, but that's the mindset of
Right.
these men that were in these comments as well. Why would a man who makes a certain amount of money, and let's be clear, 6 figures can be anywhere from 100,000,
That was in the comments.
like all the way, like you know,
Yeah.
people. I think people are kind of dumb,
Right.
but that's like a base salary. Like just because your salary says you make $100,000 a year, doesn't mean that that's what you gross.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, this thing to me is just, it's so complex because it's almost like it's a building with many doors. You know what I'm saying? Like, what door are you going to enter? Are we talking about financial value, self-value, the status of these relationships? To be honest, you know, with what Kevin Samuel was talking to these women or whatever, to me it seems like, and this may be weird, but it's almost like, you know, it's synonymous with prostitution. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you got to be like this to get with this type of dude. And if you really listen to other things that he say, he like, yo, by the third date, y'all should be smashing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm saying. This thing is way more expansive than just this particular clip. Now, I've listened to the whole thing. Like I said on the other episode, the sister solicited information from, you know, the ideas, the thoughts, the mindset of one Kevin Samuels, who apparently is the spokesperson for men of high value, which is weird to me in itself. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being honest,
Hella.
like, why don't we just get the person who truly has X amount of dollars and so on and so forth? We're actually going off of your word that you hang with these people and you see, you got to be a critical thinker in these situations. But let's say that that's the case. Okay, I always like to look at the end game. So with the particular sister, is it that you're making 6 figures a year? You get with somebody who's making 6 figures a year because you don't want to get with somebody who's making less than you. And believe it or not, fellas, I understand your pain, but I also understand where she's coming from too.
Yep.
Come back on that later. But it's like, what's the end game? Now you got 6 figures, he got 6 figures, and now it's a perfectly happy ending?
No.
One thing people don't trip off of, I heard one brother from Brooklyn, I can't remember his name right now, but he was speaking on it, and he was just saying, it's kind of like we're just stopping at the fact that you're this type of woman who wants to get this type of high value man. But we never really research these high value men in the sense of like, and I think, Harlem, you said something like this too. Like, are they psychologically sane? Why don't they have wives? Why don't they have women? Or are they just like, I'm just waiting for somebody to be able to qualify for me? That in itself, to me, says a lot. You know what I'm saying? But that's when I would encourage people, if you're really that butthurt about it or upset, just be more of a critical thinker about it. Because sometimes that could be you hopping out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or are we basing this straight off of finances? So if your worth is based on what type of money you make, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let's go deeper. Do you make your own bread, or are you still saying yes, sir? You know what I'm saying? Okay, you got your own business. 9 times out of 10, do you even have time for a relationship, or is she just a fuck piece?
Yep. I'm with you. Like,
these are things that I personally just think about. But a lot of times you have guys, I've been one of these guys, so I'm going to speak up for y'all. I'm going to save y'all some face. It's guys who don't believe in themselves financially. So
I used to be one of those guys.
Me too. I definitely was. Shit, for good reason.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if it's a sister, a woman who in her mindset of actually being with someone, and I want to talk about that word submission too, because, everything from, how people speak about scripture to whatever, that a woman is supposed to submit to a man based on the natural order of things. Now, the definition of submission is pretty deep. Okay, we'll come back to that. But my thing is this. Fellas, if you're not making the type of bread you feel comfortable with, then I don't even think you should be in this conversation. You need to be getting to a point that you're getting that bread that you want to get. You know what I'm saying?
Preach.
Number 1. Number 2, okay, you doing what you do, and it's a sister who's like, hey, I'm looking for marriage, I'm this, that, and the third. To me, this is what security looks like. Now, if it's a sister who's saying, oh, you got to make 6 figures, this, that, and that, would I raise an eyebrow? I might. But then again, at the same time, that's her. You know what I'm saying? Not every woman thinks that. Not every woman, not whatever. Everybody's their own individual. But the thing is, when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's like, just like you may have certain standards and so on and so forth. For a woman, either she matches them or she doesn't. If she doesn't, you move the fuck on. But when it's this whole thing like, oh, she shouldn't be like this and she shouldn't be like that and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I understand to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, what does it have to do with you? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's how, but then on the flip side of that, that's why the homegirl who went to talk to Kevin Samuels, you know what I'm saying? And I think even her post comments was like, well, yeah, I did ask him and this, that, and the third or whatever. Her value was based on this man holding the key to what she wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Bitter doses. So it's one of them things like, man, it's just kind of like, because I'm kind of going into the weeds, but
you good.
At the end of the day,
You always do that.
The sister's going to be like, oh my God, I love Rashad.
yeah, I mean, that's what I do. But it always, hold on, say you always do it, but it always makes sense in the end.
Alan, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Stop hating, Harlem.
Stop
Shit.
hating. He's always in the weeds. He could be in my weeds.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, but seriously though, man, like at the end of the day, you got to live your life. We all have opinions.
Gonna break it down, break it down, break
Their life individually, so on and so forth. Because all of us be nosy in people's lives and stuff. So I agree with you, Harlem. But when it comes to, and we all have opinions, but when it comes to you dealing with someone or somebody's lifestyle and or decision-making skills or lack thereof can affect you by dealing with them, Yeah, it does.
Right.
It matters.
It's also just like people telling everybody, when you get your stimulus, go start a business. Everybody doesn't want to start a business. So
Right.
what does what somebody is doing
You know
with
the funny
their stimulus money have to do with you?
You know the funny thing is, now I will say this. I see a lot of people say go start a business who don't have a business of their own.
They're also trying to teach people how to do, fraud.
I don't fall into
Have
it.
y'all seen those posts?
Yeah.
Go take 150, go get your LLC, and then go apply for a business loan, and now you have
I
this
just
money
saw
for the
that.
business loan. That's tax fraud, and the IRS is going to audit you in probably about 3 years.
If you want that uppercut that's gonna send you to jail,
You're going to jail.
you're going to jail now. Go ahead and do that fraud.
As an individual that has those things, I can tell you all that it doesn't cost $150. Okay, it does not cost $150. There's so many things that go along with. The licensing itself, is one fee or whatever the case may be. But there's just so many other things. Like, what are you even incorporating your business for? Do you know how you should incorporate? Because an LLC doesn't always work for everybody. I am not giving you advice. I am not a specialist. I am not an expert. I am speaking from my own personal experience at the moment. But there's just so many other things and moving pieces. Like, do you have employees? Who's going to do your bookkeeping? Do you have to give checks every week, every other week? Or are you going to pay people monthly? Like, there's a lot that goes along. Like, where are you going to get your supplies? Like, are you going to start a business account? Or are you going to commingle your money in one account? Like, like, what are you going to do? There's so many other things. Like, what about your banking fees? What bank has the best business account that'll work for you and your purposes and needs? Like, there's a lot that goes with it. And I think that while I don't necessarily disagree with what people say when they're doing their TikToks and videos and posts, I definitely don't agree. So I remember I had a conversation with a brother one day, and I was talking about how, all these influencers, because we don't know what any of these people do, if we're being honest. We don't know.
That's right.
And people get on TikTok and they had a little video where they point to the little bubbles and
Right.
this is how you get your tax return to be $800 million in a year. First, da-da-da-da-da. Right, and that's the sound it makes.
Are you going to jail?
Right. So
We're going to walk into my house and
but I just, people, this is the best advice I could give you. Number one, it does help to listen to people. Number two, do your own damn research. Number three, find somebody that has done what it is you're trying to do. Get a mentor, get a coach, get somebody, an accountant. Do something, because you're gonna end up in a bad situation. If every celebrity, like Tyler Perry has a story of how he got screwed over in taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's on YouTube somewhere, but like they say your first 3 years of business are you're basically in college, right? You're in the school of learning, because you don't know until certain things happen. Having a business is hard, man. It sounds glamorous and, I got people that do it. I don't want to. Man, stop. Listen and look here. Nobody gonna go for your business as hard as you will. Nobody, and that's why good help is hard to find.
Is that your 2021 message?
Maybe. I did want to circle back on something before we got where we at. We cool. So we were talking about life insurance and Jordans, right? Did you all happen to check my Facebook post on the late great Ecstasy from the group Houdini?
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that. Did that get you in trouble?
Man, so your boy DMs, your boy comments were popping.
And rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I had an opportunity to be
Ecstasy
around.
from Houdini.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to be
Definitely
around on a few occasions. I didn't know him or anything like that, but definitely was in the presence and backstage chilling on a few occasions. Things of that
Can I
nature.
ask you this real quick?
Yeah.
Didn't he, at least to me, he appeared, once again, it's appearances, and salute to him, but he appeared to be very well-to-do.
I would say so. He was very flamboyant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The hats.
Shout out
and
to
the
John Lil,
jackets.
too.
Yeah. He was very flamboyant, man. Something I've learned, and I think, so let me clarify what happened. I don't remember which news outlet it was, but they posted, I think it was XXL. they posted that Ecstasy's family had started a GoFundMe to cover his burial expenses because they wanted to give him the proper send-off.
Right.
The goal was $20,000. I don't know where it was or where it is. I don't even know if he's been buried yet. I haven't seen anything in the media to the effect that he's had his burial.
Right.
You know, if anybody knows, let me know. But I shared the post, and my caption on the post was, once those royalty checks run out, you're gonna need some life insurance.
That's right.
And that was it. That was the post.
Right.
Some people found that insensitive. I can understand how and why. Let me be clear and state that was not my intention. My clear intention from that post was, this man is a world-renowned pioneer of hip-hop.
Right.
And if that happened to him, guess what? It can happen to anybody. So people came back. Oh, well, you know, it's COVID. They weren't touring, and they probably had a messed up deal, and da-da-da. All of those things are true, probably. I don't know about what their deal was, but I mean.
Yeah, but it seems like your message dealt with the inception of this career even happening. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and sometimes, like, now I will say this in the defense of a lot of rappers and stuff, you know, and who are pretty much, and you know this because you dealt with the industry. The people that know won't tell you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, here's your advancements. Oh, we'll take care of this, but we're not talking to you about when this runs out and how you can actually have your money, make money, life insurance, investments, so on and so forth. Just have a good time right now because it looks good and it actually makes us even more money. Yeah, exactly. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
How much a month does a policy outside of your employer cost?
So I can't answer that specifically. I can tell you that there are policies that exist that are probably cheaper than your cell phone bill every month.
Yeah, because I know, like, my New York life insurance policy, which will travel with me, can go from employer to employer, it costs me, like, for me, because I only have it for me and my little son, is like $19 a month for both, you know, for each policy, which is nothing.
That's nothing.
And it's a nice size policy, which, you know, it has a bunch of different benefits to it. But I mean, I feel like life insurance is not that expensive. Well, unless you have, like, I guess, like underlying conditions and things like that, it becomes more expensive.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, and this is one thing I say I always see AI talk about on his Facebook. You know, that's Al and I Facebook. Did I say it right? Did I get it right? Did I get it right? No, but seriously, he always talks about what we prioritize.
Yeah.
You talked about what you're taking into 2021, well, how you think, your thought process. And I'm the same way as you, and to tie it into what he's saying, we got to learn first and foremost, and how he said, research, doing your own research, knowing what to prioritize, knowing how to think. And I'm not saying this about you, Harlem, but I'm just speaking in general, learning how to think better and think thoughts, get information that will serve you. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those people who bitched and moaned about life insurance when I was younger as an adult with a son, which I was an idiot. You know what I'm saying? But then you start to get out of that NM, that's all I'll say, M standing for mentality, and you stop being so cynical. Then you recognize, hey, it's about more than just me, but it is about me at the same time. You know what I'm saying? We're live
welcome to St. Louis.
Welcome to St. Louis. We're live from downtown St. Louis. This is Harlem, AI, and Rashad. But no, just like I always see AI talk about priorities. You know what I'm saying? And I think some of us suffer from what we should prioritize. Then you wind up in a situation, like you said, you're trying to go to the Rice House and get some plates, some fish plates,
right,
T-shirts, and Kickstarters. And I'm just like, how you gonna get a Kickstarter for somebody that's dead? Like, I ain't trying to be in, you know what I'm saying?
GoFundMe.
Oh, it's GoFundMe. I thought it was Kickstarter. Okay. GoFundMe into the grave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it a necessary evil? It can be. But can you be prepared with life insurance as well as other things? Preventative methods for your health and so on and so forth. And I'm not speaking about, ecstasy. I'm just speaking in general. Yeah, there are a lot of steps that we can take, but we have to learn how to prioritize those things, over getting shit to impress people that don't like us anyway.
Yeah. I mean, one thing in life is guaranteed. and that's death.
Yep.
And taxes.
So it's
And
really
taxes, right.
it's really kind of your responsibility to not only take that burden off of your family when that time comes, be it when you're 21, be it when you're 40, be it when you're 100.
Right.
You still are going to have, you still leave the responsibility of taking care of you to somebody when you leave here. So it's only the adult responsible thing to do, because you never know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. So you have to, protect yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like, shit, if you ain't going to protect nobody else, protect your children.
Your children.
By making sure that, you have these things in place, which is why I have policies.
And one thing I want to say on the behalf of One Harlem and Rashad and AI, but definitely saying this to the people in the medical field or coming from the medical field, get life insurance. And please, 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 I see this so much. So you don't end up in these emergency rooms. They put you in the corner with an eye.
Gonna break it down, break it down, break.
Bro,
Because you're never here.
I'm never here.
he's like, I'm gonna
Harlem
moderate
had to
this.
tackle me to get me here. Thank you. I appreciate that. But this may be a stupid question. I like asking stupid questions. It always brings out the best in people, right? Is there a such thing as ghosting closure?
Yeah, I was gonna touch that. I mean,
Okay.
go ahead. I mean, some people absolutely need closure. Like,
Right.
and I'm not that person that needs closure. I don't. It was what it was. I'll deal with my own stuff internally.
Right.
Because all that's gonna happen is when you tell me why you ghosted, I'm gonna get mad. So it's like, I'm just being serious. And I mean, not no violent or like but just like,
Right.
come on, dog. This is what you sitting there in my face telling me right now. Like,
Right.
I'm not I'll accept it, but I'm just be pissed off. Like, okay, whatever. So some people absolutely need it. I made a joke on Facebook right after the whole Will August Jada thing, and I was like, Jada is the reason I don't ever need closure, bro, because I don't need to be called an entanglement, bro. Like, I don't need that kind of stress in my life. Like, yeah, we was kicking it, we was hard. Like, baby girl, I did some things, you did some things to me. We was wrapped up.
Right.
You're like, oh yeah, all keeps just an entanglement. Like, hold the hell on. Like, I am nobody's entanglement in this thing. So I don't need closure, but some people just genetically, I guess, for lack of better choice of words at the moment, are built like that. Like, that's something that they need, bro. Like, I need to know why. Like, why? And why? Sometimes they're why. I mean, some people, I guess they can move on with that. Other people, me, I'm gonna be like, get the hell out of my face. Like, I should have left you where you left me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How much closure do you need after so long? It's just like, okay, it didn't work. They don't like me. Goodbye. Good day.
Yeah, the
Because
damn
9
marriage would have
times out
closed
of
it.
10 my point, she got married. Let me go on about my business.
Right.
But people still continue to seek that, and I call that emotional cutting. You seeking that, whatever it is, knowing that it's probably gonna hurt your feelings worse than the ghosting did.
That's
Period.
what I'm saying.
So sometimes you just gotta let that shit go.
We get caught out there. Y'all just made me think of a situation though where it was like I was in a relationship with somebody, it didn't work. You know, we kind of went our separate ways, because this is when it gets a little weird too. Like, it was, now I got ghosted in this situation. I think we ghosted each other in this situation, but 6 months later we ended up seeing each other, and it was like all those, you know, I'm gonna say pseudo feelings because I don't think they were real, but all these attachment based feelings came back, and we tried to kick it again, and we knew that it wasn't right, and she ghosted me the second time, but then tried to double back around the corner. And then that's when I was like, look, and I just explained how we were ghosting each other, and just go ahead and just move on to where you're going. You know what I mean? And that was a real interesting situation. And the funny thing is, we know we had ghosted each other, but because we had a specific type of conversation, we literally laughed, where it was like, look, I know you got this other nigga, you trying to double back, whatever it is you need to go over there. And instead of us arguing and stuff, she was like, you know what? You're right. He doing something that I couldn't get you to do. And we laughed about it. And that was the end of the story. And honestly, years later, I was the one who reached out to her. And you know what I said? Hey, I'm just checking on you and your sons. That's it.
You know, women take that as, oh, he trying to get back.
Totally.
Pride is a serious thing.
That's a fact. But here's
Pride
the thing
is a
too.
serious
And
thing.
I'm so glad you said that, Harlem, because you know what I also did? Thank you for saying that, because I almost forgot. The other thing I did is that I acknowledged her man.
Okay.
When I said, hey, I'm checking, because I said, no disrespect to you and your relationship. Hope everything is going well. Just checking on you and the shorties. Because when we were together, I got close to her sons. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another thing. But maybe that's another show. If you get in a relationship with somebody with children, you know what I'm saying?
Fuck them kids.
I'm gonna bring my girl on that episode.
Ooh, gangsta.
She gonna take that joint over.
You should. I would love to talk with her about that because fuck them kids.
Oh man,
I'll bring her for that show.
I'm not speechless all the time, but I guess I'm speechless on that. But I did, you know, I was checking on the family. You know what I'm saying? But here's another thing too, Harlem.
Right.
Right.
Allegedly.
Just
That what she said.
allegedly. But no, just checking. You know what I'm saying? I have a big heart. So checking it out. But, God damn it, Dan, I forgot what I was getting ready to say. I had like this
You checked
epiphany.
on
It's about to come for me.
checked on the kids.
No. It was based on something you said. But it's one of those things where it's just, I can see what you're saying, though. Because even though I was like, let me acknowledge this guy, you know what I'm saying? How you and your fam checking on you. I could still see how someone would be like, yeah, I'm still on this brother mind.
He might know that you're out here kind of newly single-ish. So,
Who?
this gentleman.
What does that even mean?
I mean, he might. It's been 4 years.
I got married one day.
I hear you, but
should
now
go away.
I would.
But he's
Go
bringing up a great point,
away.
though, Harlem.
It is a good point, and I've looked at that. However, that's not. I don't think that that's the case. I think it's just more so a pride thing and an unhealthy soul tie attachment.
You want to try and get
But-
back at you real quick and get some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get some
And
bomb and
I
then
don't have a
And ghost
desire
you.
or inkling in my body to return to that situation.
In all transparency, I've done that though.
revenge ghosting.
Of course.
I've done that.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
a thing too. That
Okay.
is definitely a thing. I'm
Okay.
not doing that. I'm not doing that. We're not gonna play that
Yeah,
game.
I've definitely done it.
This show be so dope. I be forgetting I feel like we just literally talking. I forgot it's a show.
What it's supposed to be.
but it's like we are digging into these, because even with ghosting, whether you've been ghosted or you did the ghosting, to me, it's still a bit of immaturity in that.
Absolutely.
But then sometimes it's not, because it could be a situation with Harlem where she's like, dude, I don't want to fuck with you. And it's like, okay, you still gonna fuck with me? It is just like you gotta kind of, you know.
Hit it with the good morning, beautiful.
And I
The
can,
fuck? Get
and then like nowadays, the post ghosts, okay, the post ghosting,
Post ghost.
post ghost.
Why did he? You heard that term here first. The post ghost.
The post ghost, because here's the thing. Well, let me know it's been 4 years, and I said, you know what? You can't do that face where you block us off. You gotta look at. You gotta take this. Yeah, so you know, I've been on your social media. You know,
block.
yeah, but I got a ghost account, and I was able to get in as Sheila Easton. You should have known that was fake when you heard that. So social media, I see you out. I know you work here and be there, and got my eye on you. The post ghost. How do you protect yourself in a post ghost situation? Because nowadays everybody can steal. You can go through. You know, there's a thing called trashology, where you can go through a person's trash and figure their life out.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
called being a fucking
scammer.
serial killer.
Yeah, it's the post ghost
weirdo.
situation.
That's very true. But you know, surprisingly, again, in 4 years, as small as St. Louis is and as small as a lot of our circles are
Yeah.
that are intertwined, I literally have not physically laid eyes on this person in 4 years.
Does that mean he
We have
hasn't laid
not-
eyes on you?
He is not. I've moved. Like, I don't go out.
Right,
I have
right,
not.
right.
So I know for a fact that like my social media is private. I'm not on Facebook. I'm only on Instagram. You literally are just like obsessed at this point.
But he had your. If
I
he
wouldn't
text
say
you, I
that,
missed you.
but-
That means he got your number though.
My number has been the same for 10 years.
So you have to block him.
I have done that. how many random numbers can you block?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh damn! So he's trying at it.
Yeah.
from different numbers.
So we just gonna
Fellas,
move
don't do
along.
that.
He's the Google ghost.
We gonna leave these ghosts
Don't do that.
right where they at.
Calling you from a Google number. Yes, I am.
Goodbye.
Don't do, fellas. Don't, fellas. The real man moment right here to the fellas.
Preach.
Leave these damn women alone, man. If they don't want to rock with y'all, like for
appreciate
real,
it.
man. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Just leave.
Have some pride.
Leave them
Just-
alone.
Pick your fucking bottom lip up and put your pride in your little hefty bag with your PS4 and go on about your business.
Well, here's a question too, or not necessarily a question, statement question. Let's say for the fellas, because we be picking on the guys. Well, we pick on everybody here, so it's equal picking. But let's say the guy who, I miss you. And you're like, okay. Then what? To the guy, not you.
If I just say okay,
Yeah, if you're like, okay.
then that's gonna open up for more conversation.
Right.
And I don't have
No. Hear me, because this is a message to the guy. If you said, okay, yeah, we can hang, we could this or that, I would ask a guy, and this is a true guy moment, honest guy talk.
Gonna break it down, break it down, break.
How you getting those rabbit holes on YouTube and like on Google?
tall was Muggsy Bogues?
I think he was on like 5'3" or
That's
5.
what I'm saying. He's tiny.
Did he dunk though?
Nah, I don't think Muggsy ever dunked. Let's see. Here we go. So Muggsy was 5'3".
5'3". Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I wonder, does Muggsy like tall women? That's a good question. I don't know.
He's a tiny tot. He's my height.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Do people who benefit from white privilege like to be at the front of the line when they show up late?
Yeah.
We never show up late.
Listen, let me tell you something. Them people showed up to break into the Capitol wearing flip-flops and socks.
During office hours?
They had on sandals and socks.
Yeah.
Some, yeah.
They knew, nothing was really going to happen. That was the problem. There is video of one state rep or whatever he was. He opened the damn door.
Right.
He opened the side door.
Come on. Well, that is kind of some nigga shit, though. Like, if you think about it, at the club, y'all be doing it.
Well, first, now that is true. But he was on the right, not the left.
Right.
So it's, it's like, was this coup really random?
No.
Exactly. So I look at it as, I think Malcolm X said it best.
All right.
It's the chickens coming home to roost.
You know, Malcolm got suspended from the nation for that.
I know he did. He got silenced for 90 days. But that's because they were allies with the person that he was talking about.
Absolutely.
There you go.
They didn't want the smoke.
Yeah, they didn't want that smoke.
Right.
But I think that is a very, very good piece of history to remind, this country of. These are the chickens coming home to roost.
Right.
And what we not going to do is defend any of that. We're going to sit back. We're going to mind our business, drink our water,
Right.
and leave it to them.
Yeah. You
Let
know what's
y'all do
funny?
y'all thing.
I meant to tell y'all niggas. I meant to tell y'all this. I'm sorry. I'm tripping.
Hey, Shot is in rare form today, baby. Hey, look, see, y'all thought he was all spiritual and stuff.
I don't think I've ever
It's
heard
like-
him use the term
I didn't mean
in
to tell
that
y'all.
way.
Dashikis and cocoa butter during Kwanzaa. That's
Tell us,
I
Shot.
should
Tell
caught
us.
that on camera.
Bruh.
But y'all made me forget what I was
No.
going to say because y'all sitting up here
I bet.
He called us niggas.
He definitely
clowning.
did.
It'll come back to me.
Okay,
but I
okay.
sure
I'm sorry,
was.
bro.
But it was something based off of what she just said that I was like, and I'm sorry.
The chickens coming home and Malcolm X,
Yeah.
and they were allies. The nation was allies with.
I had to come back to
Okay,
it.
and I'm not gonna.
I remember. Look, I'm 43. I'm a little old. So I got flagged on Facebook. Me. Now I used to stay in Facebook jail back in my, Hotep hustling days. But somebody put up a joke. Shout out to my main man, Jovan Bibbs, one of the greatest comedians ever to walk this
Me and
earth.
Javon grew up together. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like our houses were like a couple blocks from each other.
Oh, that's what's up. He funny as hell. And he can draw and rap at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but he put on his page, I think it was his page, where they were talking about the one brother
who was everybody was saying he was the one cat off of Power and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah.
All I said was it was either on Joe Vine page or somebody's page. I just said, man, maybe the brother just got off of work and he walked in the room and was like, what the hell is going on? And then I said, I'm trying to get this fool some kind of credit for being there. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody hit you?
I got flagged.
Did you see what he had on? He nigga wasn't just getting off work. He didn't work there. He didn't belong there.
What
The
if he
niggas be wearing bubble vests to work?
At the Capitol?
Shh.
Where do he
there's
work
all
at?
kind
In
of
the
people that work
mailroom?
at
The
the Capitol,
mozzarella
though.
sticks.
Does he
and
work- does he work
He
in
might
the
be in the
mailroom?
cafeteria, mailroom.
Mailroom?
He might have been a custodian.
Or going to pick up his check?
Yeah, I gotta cut this shit out.
I think, what if he infiltrated them like they infiltrate all of our organizations?
Did he infiltrate?
We don't know. I mean, you got to think about it.
Definitely. I think that photo provided a lot of comic relief for Black people because he literally did look like Kane from Power Book 2 Ghost. Like it was like, boy, where is Monet? She really about to get you because he did look like.
And he was just standing
He,
there.
he didn't want to be there.
No,
Right.
he wasn't supposed to. Maybe he just walked in off the street on some trying to see what was
I think
going
so.
on.
Like
That's what that looked like.
I'm gonna tell my partners I was in the Capitol building.
Is that where we could have went to go, to give me my STEMI movement? Shout out to Black Dot.
I think, in all honesty, outside, even with the STEMI,
Urban
I
X.
think January 6th taught Black people a lot. Well, I can't say taught, but it showed us
Right.
a lot. And I don't mean in a negative sense. I think that there are a lot of lessons we can take away from January 6th.
Right.
Like, I legit think that there's a lot of lessons. Now, I'm not going to get into the why, how, who, what wins because
Right.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. But I'm telling y'all that there's some lessons that need to be taken away from that. I'm telling y'all, there's some lessons.
Can we get one? Can we get one AI? Can we get a
One
Without
lesson?
going too far.
Without going too
allengation?
far.
See what I did there? Did I do it? Allengation?
Ooh, let me make this eloquent.
Do you know how to make something eloquent?
What?
I don't even know what that word means.
See, I used to have game back in the day. You have the you know my old work dog. You know I let them. You know what I'm saying?
Baby, you so metamucil as I stare into your diaphragmic eyes. Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to think how to word this, man, because I think that a big lesson that is learned that when you pissed off, you take action.
That's true.
And I think that's as eloquent as I can put it.
We're not gonna take it.
And I'm gonna leave the word. I said action. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
Because we know the action we have taken, and I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. But these people, I'm not gonna front with y'all. I applaud these motherfuckers, man. And I rarely talk like that on here.
We can say motherfucker on this show.
But this is why I say I rarely talk like that on here, man. Like,
What
I
all
applaud
bad
them.
words can we say on this show?
We grown.
I'm saying like, I used to.
We have used just about every word that that should fall into censorship. If we were on radio,
Okay.
we would be bleep bleep bleep
Yeah.
bleep bleep
Okay.
all throughout
Damn.
episodes. Are they? There go Duck Dynasty trying to break into the Capitol.
Yo.
Yeah.
But I really
And
applaud.
you see, we are again more secure.
This show gonna be super edited, ain't
We
it?
are more secure than the Capitol in this little room right here.
They did just try to get in here while we
They
was talking.
somebody definitely
Somebody's
tried to
coming.
just break in here.
No, but listen, I applaud these individuals because, like, they stood on what they believe. Like, they stood on it and they acted like
They acting like ashy white people.
yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Can you bleep that out there?
We gotta bleep out ashy white people.
Nah, man. You're gonna be the Charlemagne on this episode.
Yeah.
Ashy black
Yep.
people be. I'm ashy now.
Mayonnaise.
What we saw was we saw a temper tantrum.
We did.
We watched a temper tantrum.
Right.
Which is what, they protested and whatever they did because they didn't get their way.
You know what?
So they threw a
go
temper
ahead.
tantrum like a child would do. And that alone is what separates them from us. We don't throw temper tantrums because we don't get our way. We protest and we do so peacefully for other reasons.
Yeah, just to survive,
to make a point,
just to live.
Yeah, for those who cannot speak for themselves, not because oh my god, I didn't get any more fruit snacks, mom. Like oh my god, like
you've got that purple stuff.
Yeah, get the fuck, grow up, grow.
And you know
up.
what? Black person's life, purple stuff in the refrigerator.
I will say this though.
You drink grape drink.
The Simpsons were very accurate. They just missed the day.
Yeah, the guy.
That's it.
Oh, and you saw the one dude looking like the dude who was at the place?
I did.
It was like a Peter Pan outfit or something. I don't know. He was like a little
it was a lot of characters in there. But it was definitely
saw a gang Gasasho Bob looking motherfucker.
It was definitely the one sitting in Pelosi's chair in her office.
Yeah, he's been captured.
Yep.
Did you hear about the one dude who was with the shits with all of that? And then he was like, don't arrest me. I've got a black girlfriend. Y'all ain't heard about that?
I did not.
Oh, look that shit up. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
You're going to jail now?
You're going to jail now.
But you know the most disheartening thing for me was watching the black Capitol cop run from that group of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it lets us know that officers of the law are not always told to shoot with the intent to kill. If you can get yourself out of that situation.
If you're white? Oh, if you can get yourself out of that situation.
He was black.
No, I'm saying like you don't shoot the whites with the intent to kill.
I don't know. He didn't pull his gun at all. He threw the baton and ran.
Yeah, I think that
which was pretty that was probably what angered me the most.
I mean, these are going to be all assumptions.
Why are you making faces?
He fucking threw his baton and ran. You threw the baton.
These are going to be assumptions. I'm going to give you all assumptions. These are assumptions on my behalf. These are my assumptions, okay? One is going to be that he knew that he was outgunned. We know that them people were strapped up. We don't know how many, but we know that it was some straps. We know it was some straps.
Yeah.
Two, he may have had higher orders like, hey, we not busting at these people.
Did he kind of favor Carl Winslow?
No,
I don't
he wasn't chubby or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't chubby.
So he just threw the joint to try to hit somebody and run.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. But they did chase him up like 3 flights of steps.
But here's the thing. I ain't mad at him to a certain degree. Because black people, if me, you, all three of us chilling, we see a bunch of brothers and sisters start running,
we gonna run.
We running.
Yeah, we run.
We out. So maybe that instinct kicked in a little bit. I'm assuming I didn't see how this shit happened.
I just want to say,
I'm trying to give Bibby some credit.
That the police, there's more police presence and action at city versus county games in St. Louis.
Indeed.
Okay. City versus county games in St. Louis. We have to know that. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Did y'all see the interview? I think she was more so doing a press conference, the mayor. And she was like, they have orders that if anyone is seen here, they will be removed from the premises, blah, 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 blah. And the reporter was like, removed by who? When I say Mayor Bowser got real black real quick, she had pulled her mask down and was like, the police. And like her facial expressions was that of like a black mother. Like, you heard what the fuck I said.
You heard what I said.
Stop playing in my face.
Hold on. I don't know what was going on with this. Apparently, it was some sisters who had them hands in the middle of that crowd. I saw something where I guess.
Oh yeah, I think she was like a security guard or something like that.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think the lady reached over to like try to hit her.
Yeah.
She rocked her shit.
Oh boy.
She did.
She
did. But then a man came,
grabbed her,
and he tried to hit her.
Oh, I didn't.
He tried to sneak her.
Okay. She dodged it.
He clipped her just like a
Rope-a-dope.
little tad. But, like I said,
but somebody like grabbed her and took her to the police, I guess, to get out of the way or something.
I don't know.
The way it looked.
I just feel like that's not our fight.
If somebody hit you, that's your fight, though.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. But no, I see what you're saying. Like, why are you even in the midst of all of that?
I mean, she was doing her job. She
was on duty.
She was a security